Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Sexy. Today I want to talk to all my people in Georgia, all my Georgia residents down here with me in this struggle to stay alive. You know, all them Bulldog fans, all them Brave fans, all them Falcons fans, and Hawks fans. Do people root for the Falcons and the Hawks? Like, are there diehard Falcons and Hawks fans? Or are people just going to their games to see the other team? If you know, or if you are a diehard Falcons and Hawks fan, let me know. I don't know many of them. Not to say anything, but you know, I live in Georgia and I don't hear about anybody rooting for, you know, the Atlanta Hawks or the Atlanta Falcons. You know, especially since that little dog situation is there. But anyway, if you are a Falcons fan or a Hawks fan, let me know. I would really like to know that. Got a couple questions to ask you. Like, do you really think the Falcons are ever going to make it to the Super Bowl? Or are you just a fan because you enjoy it? Anyway, besides the subject, let's get into it. Yeah. Okay, so Georgia now is under the Senate rule of Chambliss. And Chambliss is Georgia's McCain and Bush. He's voted just as many times with Bush as McCain, probably more. Saxby wants to raise the state tax to 23% on everything, and I'm not too happy about that. I don't think you are either. You live in Georgia, 23% is a lot. That's like 23%. Why would you do that? He wants to deregulate everything. He doesn't want to change education. I don't even think education is on his mind. Chambliss is all for the money, for the wealth. And I have a big problem with that. And I think a lot of people do. And it's time for a new candidate. Time for change, baby. Time for change. So, for all my people who has not voted, I want you to do me a favor and vote for Jim Martin for Senate. Jim Martin is a candidate that wants to bring change to Georgia. He wants to cut taxes for the middle class like Barack Obama. He wants to change No Child Left Behind so that teachers aren't micromanaged. He wants to put the accountability and responsibility back on the parents and the students so that the teachers won't fail if the students fail. You know, teachers are actually being reprimanded for that type of stuff. But anyway, that's a totally different story. I can talk about teachers all day. But he wants to do all these things to Georgia. He wants to go ahead and start our getting our energy independence plan off the ground. He wants to do all these things for us. He's fighting for the small people in this thing. And that's what I need. Which is why I want Barack Obama as president. And I need Jim Martin in the Senate. So that we can get rid of the Saxby, Chambliss, Bush, McCain type bull that's been going on that hasn't been working. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not happy, you know, with Saxby's proposal. 23%? But anyway, you can go on Jim Martin's website to read up on his stances on the issues. Get to know him as a guy. He's a pretty good guy. I've gone to his website, I've read all the information, and I like what I saw. He pretty much wants to bring the same change that Barack Obama wants to bring nationally to the state of Georgia, and that's great. That's great. We need people in Washington that's going to be on the same page, that's wanting to cut taxes for the middle class. You got to think. Liberals, you know, Democrats, we have a bad rep for always wanting to raise taxes. We now have two candidates, Barack Obama for president and Jim Martin for senator, representative of Georgia, that's wanting to cut taxes for me and you, regular people, and roll back these Bush tax cuts for the people making $1.7 billion a year. That's great news. I think we should admire that. I think we should go ahead and push that in. Go ahead and put it in office. So, go to his website, it's martinforsenate.com. Read up on him, get to know him, vote for him, and we can bring some change to Georgia. Not only to the nation, but Georgia. But like Barack Obama says, you knock on some doors, you make some calls. Not only will we win Georgia, we will win the United States of America and bring some change up in here. Okay, maybe I changed that from the way Barack Obama said it. But the way I said it, brings more of me into it. But anywho, seriously, on a serious tip, for those of you who haven't voted, go vote for Jim Martin for Senate. He is going to bring all the change we need, and that's what I need. Some change. You got some change? I need some change. I don't buy a suit. Anywho, whatever. Vote for Jim Martin. Go to his website. MartinForSenate.com. Lost my train of thought. MartinForSenate.com. And let's bring change.
Georgia.
XC's out.
Georgia. The whole